Okay, folks, good evening and welcome to the 5th City Council meeting. Happy New Year to everybody. For you folks at home, don't try adjusting your televisions. This is who you're seeing here tonight in the mayor's position. So if I could please ask everyone to stand up and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll ask Mr. Pinter if he'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mayor. I pledge allegiance
To the
The
flag
flag of the United States of America,
and to the
to the
republic
republic for which it stands,
stands one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
indivisible,
with liberty and
and
justice
justice for all.
Okay, and if I could please ask Mr. DiGiulio Mr. Palma, please, to lead us in prayer.
Sure. Let's all pray tonight. God Almighty, we want your wisdom. Please help us grow in faith, strength, love, and compassion. Help us know that you are who can bring us out of this sadness and worries in our minds. We believe you are the only one who can do that. You can and will do what you say, and much more than we can imagine around us. Father, help us to go through every single moment in our life. We pray for this wonderful country you have blessed us with, for the families who have lost their loved ones, for the strength and for positive minds of all of the great people who fight for the goodness of this country. We pray, oh God, for the homeless, for anyone who may be going through any kind of problems. Take over their lives, take over their minds, show them the way, the love, and trust in you, who can only be you, which make possible to go through any kind of problems that people might be into it. We pray for our new mayor, for health, wisdom, for grace, for blessings, so he can always be guided you by you with every decision that he needs to do for this great city. Bless and protect every one of us and our families and everyone who might be going through any kind of problems. God, thank you for listening to us on this night. In Jesus' name, we all pray. Amen.
Amen.
Mr. Palma, thank you very much for that prayer. I'm going to ask the clerk if she'll please call the roll.
Alves,
Present.
Bezade,
Present.
Mike Esposito,
Present.
Levy,
Present.
Salvatore, Frank Salvatore,
Get him on here. He's here.
is there? Stanley,
Here.
okay. Tabersack, Fox,
Present.
Bob's here.
Priola,
Here.
DiGiulio,
Here.
Rotello,
Here.
Visconti,
Here.
Palma,
Present.
Knapp,
Here.
Esposito,
Here.
Santos,
Here.
Perkins,
Here.
Genesi, Camiza,
Here. Here.
Molinaro. Okay, 21.
Let the record reflect we have 20 members present and we have one
20,
vacancy currently. We'll have the clerk record that on the record. I would like to go to public comment. We have one public comment letter. I'm going to just read it into the record. Agenda item number 13, Police Department report. Funding to the Danbury Police Department implementation of body cameras and dash cameras was augmented by $230,000 in the December 2020 City Council meeting. Question is, what is the status of the DPD implementation of body cameras and dash cameras? And we'll get to that under department reports. Item number 13, Health Department report. Vaccination of CDC Phase 1B eligible citizens is anticipated to commence prior to the next scheduled City Council meeting. CDC Phase 1B includes a very diverse population frontline essential workers, first responders, and all persons aged 75 and older. There is no existing DPH database encompassing all of these groups.
Please mute yourselves.
You can please mute yourselves, we'd appreciate it. Question is, how many CDC phase 1 eligible persons expect to be notified of the availability of COVID-1 vaccine with directions on how to verify their eligibility, register their interest in getting vaccinated, and schedule their vaccination? That was from Tom Brown, 10 Valerie Lane, Danbury, Connecticut. So that's it for the comments. I would just like to mention tonight that it's David St. Hilaire's birthday, and so we'd like to wish David a happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Birthday.
And just so folks know, there'll be a ribbon cutting at the Ellen Levy Animal Control Facility on Thursday at 11:30 for those of you who'd like to attend that. And we're very grateful for Ellen and Ron's generosity to that facility. I have a bit of sad news. I just want to ask for a moment of silence for Frank Salvatore's mom, Carol, who passed away on Christmas morning. And if we could just all please have a moment of silence for that. Thank you very much, Mr. Salvatore. You and your family have our city's deepest sympathies in the passing of your mom. Mr. Majority Leader, could we have the minutes, please?
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to waive the reading of the minutes as all members have a copy and a copy is on file in the Legislative Assistant's office.
Second.
It's been made and seconded by Mr. Perkins. All those in favor of accepting the minutes as reported signify by saying aye or give me a thumbs up.
Aye.
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 Okay, anybody in the no, anybody abstaining? Okay, minutes pass unanimously. Mr. Majority Leader, the consent calendar, please.
Yes, Your Honor. This is the consent calendar for January 5th, 2021. Item number 3, receive the communication and confirm the appointment of James Bashy to the Danbury Museum Board of Trustees. Item 8, receive the communication and adopt the resolution authorizing Mayor Joseph M. Cavo or Susan Tomanio, Director of Elderly Services as his designee, to apply for and accept grant funding made available through the State of Connecticut Department of Aging and Disability State Unit on Aging through the CARES Act in an amount not to exceed $2,500. This funding is to be used to assist senior centers to continue to provide critical services during the COVID-19 pandemic. No local match is required. Item 9, receive the communication and adopt the resolution authorizing Mayor Joseph M. Cavo or Katie Pearson Library Director as his designee to apply for and accept grant funding made available through the American Library Association through its American Dream Literacy Initiative grant from the Dollar General Literacy Foundation in an amount not to exceed $5,000. This funding is to be used by the Danbury Library to initiate English literacy and basic education and workforce development. No local match is required. Item 10, receive the communication and adopt the resolution authorizing Mayor Joseph M. Cavo or Katie Pearson Library Director as his designee to apply for and accept grant funding made available through the American Library Association in partnership with the Gilder Lehrman Institute of American History through its Revisiting the Founding Era program in an amount not to exceed $500. This funding is to be used by the Danbury Library to develop informative programs about the American founding era, 1774 through 1797 for adults and children. No local match is required. And lastly, item 11, receive the communication and adopt the resolution authorizing Mayor Joseph M. Cavo or Cara Marie Prunty, Acting Director of Health as his designee, to apply for and accept grant funding made available from the State of Connecticut Department of Public Health through the Torrington Area Health District through its Public Emergency Preparedness Grant Program and to sign the related Memorandum of Agreement effective July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2024 in an amount not to exceed $47,960 for the first year, July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. That, Your Honor, is the consent calendar.
Thank you, Mr. DiGiulio. What's your pleasure, counsel? Mr. Fox?
Your Honor, thank you, Your Honor. This time I move adoption of the consent calendar as presented.
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Camisa. Any discussion on the consent calendar?
Your Honor,
Seeing none? Oh, yes. Who is that?
that's Ben.
Keeney's.
Yes, I'd like to have item number 3 removed.
Okay, item number 3 will be removed. Okay. Folks, last month at our council meeting, we had, the mayor had allowed a briefing from Kara Prunty, and with the intention that people that are tuned in early will stay to catch that briefing. It went off into the out into the distance quite a bit more than we would have liked to have seen it in that form. So what we'd like to do tonight is I'm going to ask Kara to just give the council and the members of the public that are watching at this point in time just a quick briefing of where we are on COVID-19 issues here in the city of Danbury. And I will ask everybody to just reserve their questions and comments to when we get to the department report. So it'll just be more of a statement from Kara, and then we'll go and do it at the end of the meeting in the department reports. So Acting Health Director, Ms. Prunty, you're on.
Thanks, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. The 14-day average of new COVID cases per 100,000 in Danbury is 73.6. The positivity rate for the past 14 days is 11.5%. As you know, COVID-19 vaccines have arrived in Connecticut, and vaccination of Group 1A has begun. Group 1A consists of healthcare personnel, medical first responders, and long-term care facility residents. The health department has started vaccinations, and we have vaccinated 430 people approximately so far. Most of the nursing homes and long-term care facilities have received the first dose of their vaccine in Danbury. The hope is to have Group 1A completed by the end of January and then start vaccinating Group 1B. The Connecticut Department of Public Health has advised us not to collect names and information for people who fall under 1B because they are still working out all of the details of who is eligible and who will be vaccinating the different populations that are included in 1B. DP should be releasing more information, and as soon as I get that information, I will make that available to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kara. Appreciate that update. Folks, I realize that I moved to the health department report from Kara before I took a vote on the consent calendar. So we have item 3 removed from the consent calendar. If the rest of the consent calendar is acceptable, I'll take a vote now. I'll try your minds on that. All those in favor of accepting the consent calendar with item number 3 removed, signify by saying aye or give me a thumbs up.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Anybody abstaining? Okay, thanks very much. Okay, we're going to go to the agenda. Madam Clerk, item 1, please.
Okay. Communication, appointment to the city council. Dear members, at the December 14, 2020 meeting of the Danbury Republican Town Committee, the committee voted unanimously to recommend Michael Henry of 11 Corntassil Road, Danbury, Connecticut, to fill the vacancy as a 3rd Ward City Councilman when Council President Joe Cavo vacated the seat and was sworn in as mayor. Mr. Henry was recently elected to the Zoning Commission as an alternate in 2019. In 2020, he ran with distinction as a Republican candidate in the 109th State Representative District. He is a longtime business owner in Danbury and is active in the Danbury community. We are confident that with his experience and his knowledge, Mr. Henry will be a valued addition to the Danbury City Council. Sincerely, Michael Safranek, Chairman of the Danbury Republican Town Committee.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. What's your pleasure, council? Mrs. Stanley?
Thank you, Your Honor. I just want to say congratulations before I start. I'd like to make a motion to receive the communication and approve the appointment of Michael Henry to the city councilman, as city councilman of the 3rd Ward.
Second.
Made and seconded by Mr. Levy, I believe was the first one in there. Okay, under discussion. Didn't see none. I'll try your minds. All those in favor of the appointment of Michael Henry to Third Ward Councilman signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Anybody abstaining? Okay, the ayes have it. Congratulations, Mr. Henry. Welcome to the council, city council.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm pleased, especially since that it was my former seat, that you will be backfilling that for me, and the citizens of the Third Ward and Danbury will be grateful to have you on as a city councilman. So thank you very much.
Thank
Madam
you. Look
Clerk,
forward.
item number 2, please.
Communication, election of council president.
Okay, what's your pleasure, council? I'll open the floor for nominations. Mr. Knapp.
Thank you, Your Honor, Mayor Joe Cavo. Your Honor, it is my pleasure tonight to place into nomination our current majority leader for the position of President of the City Council. Vinny DiGilio brings with him the leadership skills and passion for our community that is required for this most important position on our City Council. He was elected to his position on the City Council 8 years ago and has served on our leadership team for 6 of those 8 years, 2 years as a legislative leader and 4 years as majority leader. I therefore am honored to place into nomination Vincent DiGilio as City Council President.
Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Knapp, seconded by Mrs. Stanley. Are there any other nominations?
Mayor, if I may,
Yep, Mr. Visconti?
thank you, Your Honor. I would like at this time to nominate Councilman Paul Rotello. He's been with us for a long time and has been doing quite a good job. So I also am honored to nominate Paul.
Second.
For the council.
Second by Mr. Perkins. Okay, are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations?
I
Seeing none,
move the nominations be closed.
thank you. Move to close nominations by Mr. Cheney, seconded by
Second.
Mr. Palmer. Okay, all those in favor of closing the nominations signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Anybody abstaining? Okay, nominations are closed. We'll now take a vote on Mr. DiGilio for City Council President, since he was nominated first. Let's do a roll call vote on this, please.
Your Honor, your Honor, question, maybe if you are, just a point of order, if I may.
You have the floor, Mr. Cheney.
Just on the nomination and confirmation of Mike Henry, does he need to be sworn in?
Mr. Cheney, I'm going to have Mr. Pinter opine on that, please. Mr. Pinter?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, Councilman Henry was sworn in yesterday conditionally on the approval of the City Council in order to effectuate the filling of the vacancy as soon as possible as a high priority item. So yes, he is sworn and therefore he's a valid member at the present time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Cheney, for that question. Okay, so at this time I'll try your minds. All those in favor, we're going to do a roll call vote, right? Mr. Fox, you asked for a roll call vote?
Yeah, I move for a roll call vote.
Clerk, please call the roll on Mr. DiGilio for City Council President.
Els,
Nay.
I'm sorry. Could you repeat that?
No.
Okay. Bezade,
Yes.
okay. Mike Esposito,
Yes.
okay. Levy,
Absolutely, yes.
Salvatore,
Salvatore, just give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
He's having audio issues, but
Thumb is
But the
down.
nay, we're recording a nay for Mr. Salvatore. Okay, we got you, Mr. Salvatore. Thank you.
okay. Stanley,
Absolutely.
Tabersack,
Do we still have Mr. Tabersack on the line?
Oh, you're muted.
Hold on.
Paul, you're muted. If you can unmute yourself.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Bob Tabersack, Councilman Tabersack is coming through my speakerphone. He registered a vote in the negative. Bob, if you could say that again? Thank you.
Fox,
Yes.
Priola. Priola,
John, you have to unmute yourself. Drill is a thumbs up.
yes, okay. DiGilio,
Yes.
does he get to vote for himself? Yes. Botello,
Nay.
Visconti,
Nay.
Palma,
Yes.
Knapp,
Yes.
John Esposito,
No.
Santos,
Nay.
Perkins,
Nay.
Chinese,
No,
Camissa, count,
Yes.
and Molinaro,
Nay.
and Henry.
Yes.
Yes, 1, 2. Okay, hang on.
We have it. There's 11 yeas, 10 nays. The motion for Mr. DiGiulio for council president carries. Congratulations, Mr. DiGiulio, on becoming the next city council president for the city of Danbury.
Congratulations, Vinny.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Congratulations,
President.
Vinny.
11 to 10.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Very good, folks. Item 3 was removed from consent. So need a motion on item number 3.
I want to read it.
Yes, please.
Communication, appointment to the Danbury Museum Board of Trustees. Dear City Council members, I hereby submit for your confirmation the appointment of the following individual to serve on the Danbury Museum Board of Trustees. James Bichelle, 33 Mansfield Street, Bethel, Connecticut. Mr. Bichelle was born and raised in Danbury, where he remains an active member of St. James Episcopal Church. Mr. Bichelle worked for many years in the Parks Division for the state of Connecticut and is looking forward to an opportunity to serve the residents and the city of Danbury. Thank you for your consideration of this appointment. Sincerely, Joseph M. Cavo, Mayor.
Okay, folks, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor.
Your Honor.
Mr. Knapp?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to make a motion to approve the appointment of James Beshley to the member as the Danbury Museum Board of Trustees.
Second.
Second move and seconded by, who seconded that?
Seconded.
See on my screen. I'll just take that as Mr. Palmer's got that. Thank you, folks. You know, it's hard. I don't see everybody on the screen, so I have to keep flipping from screen to screen. So, so we have a second under discussion. Any questions on this item?
Your Honor.
Mr. Cheney, you have the floor.
Thank you, Your Honor. I know Mr. Bishu will probably do a wonderful job as a member of the museum, but my question is more of a housekeeping matters. It does mention that he'll be appointed to the Danbury Museum Board of Trustees. It's my thought that this is an authority, so he's really being appointed to the authority, not to the Board of Trustees. It might be just a wording of the letter, but I just want to make sure that we are appointing him to the actual authority and not just to a Board of Trustees. So I'd just like the Corporation Council to opine on that as well.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cheney. Yes, we did look into that. Mr. Pinter is ready to give you a comment on that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Mr. Chianese. Yes, I appreciate that remark, and that did come up to us earlier today. The Board of Trustees is actually, if you will, an identifier or a subset of officials who serve on the Danbury Museum and Historical Society Authority. It is the authority to which he's being appointed. The Board of Trustees is on the website for the authority as the membership, the official membership of the body itself. So it's really just a terminology, a subset terminology. So the appointment is in fact to the authority, but he will be joining others who are on the Board of Trustees within the authority itself. So in that respect, the appointment is as the council believes it is, which is to the authority acting within this Board of Trustees. Mr. Cheney.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Les.
You're all set, Mr. Cheney?
Yes, all set.
Okay. So having a motion made, any other discussion under this item? Seeing none, I'll try your minds. All those in favor of the appointment to the Museum Authority, please signify by saying aye. Or thumbs up.
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Anybody abstaining? Okay, so the ayes have it. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, item number 4, please.
Communication, appointment to the appointment to the police department. Dear council members, I hereby submit your confirmation the appointment of Mr. Christopher Orgrig to the position of police officer. He currently works as a certified police officer for the Orange, Connecticut Police Department. He has held this position for the past 4 years. He holds an associate's degree in criminal justice from Housatonic Community College, and as part of his academic work, he completed an internship with the New Canaan Police Department police officer Orgrig rank on the current certified police officer eligibility list is number 4. He is scheduled to begin his employment with the city of Danbury in January of 2021. Officer O'Frank is a qualified police officer with a broad range of valuable skills and experience, and he will be a tremendous asset to the department and to the citizens of Danbury. Thank you for your consideration of these appointments. Sincerely, Joseph M. Cavo.
What's your pleasure, council? Mr. Esposito?
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to make a motion that we receive the correspondence and approve the appointment of Mr. Christopher Orgring to the Danbury Police Department.
Second. You're on mute, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, the motion, I believe, seconded by Mrs. Stanley. Under discussion? Seeing none, I'll try your minds. All those in favor of the police appointment of Mr. Orgring, please signify or thumbs up by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, congratulations, Mr. Ornick. Welcome to the City of Danbury Police Department. I believe you will probably have the honor of me being the first mayor for your swearing in here. So we welcome you, and we welcome your experience and your service to Danbury. So thank you very much. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Madam Clerk, item number 5.
Communication lease agreement, Tango Yankee LLC.
Pleasure, council.
Your Honor?
Yes, sir. Mr. Knapp?
Yes, thank you.
Sorry, you're on,
No
you're on my
problem.
second screen. Sorry about that.
Okay. I'd like to refer this to an ad hoc consisting of the airport administrator, director of planning, director of finance, corporation counsel, and a report from the planning commission.
Okay, so moved. That committee will consist of Mr. Knapp in the chair, Mr. Priola, and Mr. Visconti. Item number 6.
Okay. Communication, certification of funds, CMAQ application.
You can read the communication.
Hold on. Okay, so to Mayor Joseph Cavo, to the City of Council. Pursuant to attached request, I hereby certify the availability of $250,000. Funding for this project will be transferred from the SNAP 2020 2001-7001, which is paving, draining, and road improvements. Please feel free to contact me should you require additional information.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. What's your pleasure, council? Mr. Priola,
Thank you, Your Honor. I would move to receive the communication and approve the request for $250,000, which has been certified as available to be transferred from SNAP 2020.3001-7000.0501 paving, drainage, and road improvements to be utilized as the city's 20% match for the attached CMAQ grant application program.
Second.
thank you, Mr. Priola. Seconded, Tello, I believe it was?
Yes, it was, Your Honor.
Was it you? Thank you very much. Okay, under discussion, I see Mr. Salvatore's hand. Folks, if I don't see your hand, just shout out to me that, in a calm manner that you need to be recognized. But I see Mr. Salvatore on my screen. So Mr. Salvatore, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Because I'm coming through the phone.
Okay, it's a little bit laggy, but we can make out what you're saying.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah, they're going to be different.
Just
Maybe a point of order, but I
have no
problem with this, but really doesn't item 7 have to be,
does that have to
be approved first? And then this be done? Because don't we have to put the 1,250,000 up first and then approve this second one? Is this backwards, or should we be taking them together? Because doesn't one follow the other?
Okay, Mr. Salvatore, I understand your question. I'm going to turn that over to Mr. Pinter for a decision because we did have some discussion about this when the booklet came out, and we felt that at the time it would work fine. So I'll let Mr. Pinter explain this to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I heard the councilman's comment. I think he's largely correct. The order of affairs here should be, as it would commonly be, is adoption of the resolution, which is embodied in number 7, which captures the funding issue as well as the project issue, and then attached to that, the approval of the certification in number 6. So that would resolve the issue and put it in the order that it commonly is seen. Yes.
Okay, I don't think I have a problem with that now.
We can combine them, Mr. Mayor, simply by a motion, a redone motion to adopt the resolution together with the certification.
Okay, so Mr. Salvatore, would it be your request that we make a combination of item number 6 and 7 for tonight's agenda, and then we can take it up as one item?
I think that would be a great idea.
Now your mic not be working.
Okay, now we
It
don't
looked
have
like it was
audio
working
again.
on both of his last.
How
How about this?
If you just want to give me a thumbs up, Mr. Salvatore, we'll move from there.
His phone's on.
Yeah, I'd
Okay,
like to
great.
see it done
Perfect,
that way.
thank you. Okay, so I have a motion from Mr. Salvatore in some sort, means that we combine number 6 and 7 tonight for the purposes of both requests, joinability. So
Second.
have that motion.
Second.
Do I have a second on that motion?
I'll second that.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Rotello. Any discussion on that?
Oh,
sorry.
your volume. That's what's going on.
Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, I'll try your minds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Anybody opposed? Anybody abstaining? Okay, the motion carries unanimously. So we're going to combine item number 6 and 7. Madam Clerk, item number 7, please.
Wait. Okay, hold on. Item 7 is resolution, congestion mitigation and air quality improvement program, which is CMAQ. It's to Honorable Cavo from Antonio Idarola, Director of Public Works and City Engineer. On behalf of the State of Connecticut Department of Transportation and the Federal Highway Administration, the Western Connecticut Council of Government is soliciting applications from municipalities for improvement of traffic signal operations in order to reduce level of vehicle emissions caused by traffic congestion as well as stop and go travel conditions. The engineering department has chosen that the improvement be conducted along Main Street and Osborne Street. The project shall complement the city's planned streetscape improvements along Main Street, also shall facilitate improvement of accessibility to Danbury Hospital, the largest healthcare facility in the region. The estimated total cost for the project is $1,250,000, of which the city is to contribute 20% or $250,000 as matching funds.
Your Honor. Your Honor.
Madam Clerk, I think there's a back page to that item 7-1.
Sorry. The department therefore requests the city council to authorize the mayor or Antonio Idarola, PE, Director of Public Works and City Engineer as his designee to apply for and accept the subject funds from the federal highway for this project. Sincerely, Antonio Idarola, Director of Public Works and / City Engineer. Sorry about that.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. We've got it now. Okay, what's your pleasure, council?
Your
Mr.
Honor.
Fox?
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, I move to receive the combined communication of items 6 and 7 and to adopt the resolution authorizing Mayor Joseph M. Cavo or his designee, the Director of Public Works / City Engineer, to apply for and receive grant funds pursuant to the Congestion Mitigation and Air Quality Improvement Program, and to take such actions and execute any agreements as may be required in accordance with the program, and to approve the certification of availability of funds of $250,000 to be transferred from the SNAP 2020.3001 -7000.0501 paving, drainage, and road improvements.
Second.
Motion made and seconded by Ms. Camisa. I got you there, Ms. Camisa. Thank you very much. Under discussion of this item,
Joe, Your Honor.
Mr. Giannis, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. My question is to Antonio. Can you give us just a brief description, a little bit more detail of what the expected improvements are to be?
Idarola?
Sure. I'm just checking in, make sure my audio's okay. Can everybody hear me?
I got you.
Great.
Wonderful.
We got you.
So this is a program that we haven't used before, but, and we're using it in a very unique format. The entire program is really geared towards improving air quality, but we figured that we utilize some of the coordination of timing of our streetlights and the congestion that most of you guys probably have seen on both of these main corridor routes to utilize this grant. So what it will do is it will study the traffic timing of all of our traffic lights. It will determine what the average speed is between traffic lights, and ultimately determine what the perfect timing is for all the street lights within these corridors. So we have the most efficient and least congested movement of traffic, which would ultimately minimize air quality. That's in essence what we're doing, Mr. Chinese.
And just a follow-up.
Yep, please proceed.
When do you expect this project to begin and when is it expected to end?
So that is a very good question. Based on what we're seeing over the last year and a half, 2 years, these programs take a long time to get through the process. Our application has to be completed by the end of this month. And we typically see 6 months to a year for the actual award of these grants. Then at that point, once the award is made, we have to enter into an agreement with the state and ultimately kick off the project, which would involve a solicitation of design professionals, a complete design of the project, and ultimately a bidding of those improvements. So you're not going to see anything quick because these are grant monies trickled down from the federal government.
Thank you.
Mr. Idarola. Are you all set, Mr. Cheney's?
I'm all set. Thank you, Antonio.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody else have any questions? Seeing none, I'll try your minds. All those in favor? Oh, Mr.
Wait,
Rotello,
wait,
you
Your
have
Honor?
something? Yep,
Your
Mr.
Honor?
Rotello, you have the floor. Yep,
I
gotcha.
do. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to direct a query to the Director of Finance, Director St. Hilaire. Is he in?
Yes, he should be here. Mr. St. Hilaire, on your birthday?
Yes, I'm here.
Happy birthday, David.
Thank
And
you.
congratulations, Your Honor. I mean, I've told you this before, but I just want to put that on the record. Okay. Director, could you just walk me through briefly how we're getting the 250,000? I'm assuming we're taking it out of the SNAP bond that we approved under the executive order as proxies for the voters, and we're transferring it to this and using it as a down payment. I'm not quite completely up to speed on the actual procedure for this. So if you could walk me through it, I would certainly appreciate it. Thank you.
Sure, I'd be happy to. Basically, we just have to come up with the city's portion, which is the 20%, the $250,000. And as Antonio proceeds with the project, we will front the money, but then we'll have to, he'll get the grant, and then the net amount will end up being 250,000, for that portion of the study and the project. So at the end of the day, that could be a little bit more, a little bit less. Usually he's right on target with it. So, a lot of it, as he says, is timing. Sometimes the Fed takes a little bit longer to get those funds than we would expect, but a lot of this stuff is fluid. So, we have to make the commitment of the funds. Antonio goes out and makes the application. Hopefully everything goes well. He's able to get the grant, and then it's likely, he will without any problems. But then he can proceed once everything is approved. So, this step really just says, all right, he can go and make the application. The city has made the commitment for the 20% share. We've earmarked a certain amount of funds under the SNAP 2020 bond, which falls under the road improvement, street improvement infrastructure program. And that's basically where we're getting those funds.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Director. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Rotello, and thank you, Mr. St. Hilaire. Okay, any other questions on this item? Seeing none, I'll try your minds. All those in favor signify by saying aye or give me a thumbs up.
Aye.
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 Anybody
Aye.
opposed? Anybody abstaining? Okay, the ayes have it. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Antonio and David, for the work on this. We appreciate that. Items number 8, 9, 10, and 11 are on consent. Madam Clerk, item 12, please.
Reports, request for renewal of the sewer main extension at 5 Great Pasture Road.
There, and what's your pleasure, counsel?
Your Honor.
Mr. Levy? Mr. Levy, I see you. I have you.
Okay. I make a motion to approve the request for an 18-month extension for a sewer main extension at 5 Great Plain Road, subject to the normal 8 steps plus additional steps as outlined by city department heads.
Okay,
Second.
I think you meant to say Great Pasture Road,
Great
Mr. Levy?
pasture.
Did I say, I meant to say Great Pasture.
Okay, great. Thank you. We got that. And I think Mr.
I'll second that,
Salvatore
Mr.
seconded
Mayor.
that. Okay, thank you very much. Under discussion,
Your Honor.
Mr. John Esposito.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have a question. I guess I'll direct this to Antonio Idarola, if you would, please.
Okay, we'll put it out there. We'll figure out who's the best to field it.
Thanks. I have no problem with these sewer extensions. Granting the extension for the application. My question is, does this delay the process for road maintenance and even repaving? Because I know Great Pasture Road is in pretty rough shape. So, because they're going to require probably digging up some of that road for this project, is that the reason why we hold off on addressing any of the maintenance issues?
Okay, we can go to Mr. Iadarola on that.
Sure, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we don't typically alter our maintenance program for these potential excavations in our roadway, because if we did, we may not get anything done. As you know, and as a couple of you council members know, that's been an ongoing issue with one of our gas company, utility companies. Paul would probably be the best to understand that because it's right in his district. Actually,
Don't get me started.
it's right in his back door. So here's what happens, if we pave a road and we restore it, and these gentlemen come in and they decide it's the most appropriate time for them to do this work and install the sewer, they would end up paving the entire road all over again. That's the cost of doing business. So we do every effort and we do everything we can to coordinate those repairs with these potential applications, but at no point do we stop our work, because if we did, it would be a mess. The situation that I just spoke about with Paul is obviously a lot more complicated than that.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, because in that situation, the gas line is so brittle that if we pave over the top of it and we compact the asphalt, we may actually cause a major gas main rupture. So
Sure, yeah.
that's a completely different scenario. But no, we don't stop our maintenance programs for these potential expansions and these extensions of time.
Well, that's good. Thank you for answering that question. It certainly helps my decision-making in the future.
Thank you, Mr. John Esposito. Any other comments on this item? Seeing none, I'll try your minds. All those in favor of this sewer extension signify by saying aye.
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 You opposing it? Anybody abstaining? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Thank you, everybody. Let's go to President DiGiulio for the departmental reports.
Thank you, Your Honor. I make a motion to waive the reading of the department reports, as everybody has a copy, and a copy is on file with the legislative assistant.
Second.
Objection be so ordered. All those in favor of waiving the reading of the reports, please signify by saying aye.
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 Your discussion.
Your Honor?
Yes. Mr. Santos?
I did have a question, but that wasn't me who said Your Honor.
Yep.
That was me.
Okay. Let's go to Mr. Esposito first, then we'll go to Mr. Santos.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. I got 3 issues I'd like to discuss. My first question would be to Chief Rittenhauer.
Okay, Chief Rittenhauer, are you on with us?
I am. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Rittenhauer. My question is regarding the bicycle patrol on the City Center during the warmer spring and summer months. How long does that usually last? And how especially what's the schedule during the day?
The schedule varies because it's our community conditions unit that does the bike patrol, as well as our school resource officers who are out, of school for the summer months. So it usually runs. I mean, as the weather gets warmer, it's really their discretion as soon as it starts getting warmer, if they want to ride the bikes to get out there. And normally it runs at least until school would open back up in September, but it could go longer depending on how the weather, if the weather holds up.
Okay. I had some questions about an email that myself and I believe all my colleagues, including yourself, sir, an email from City Center Executive Director Angela Wong sent us. I'll give you a phone call probably during business hours tomorrow and discuss that with you, because I don't think members of the public are privy to that information, although I'm sure it's available to them under
Sure.
Freedom of Information Act. But I'll give your office a call tomorrow and discuss that with you.
Sure.
Thanks. I do have another question I'd like to direct to Public Works Director Iadarola.
Mr. Iadarola, you're on.
I am ready.
All right, thank you, sir. I took a hike around Terry Wild, and I, got the Hearthstone Castle within sight, and it's really a beautiful structure. My question was, I know we just did a bunch of abatement work to that, and the site looks really nice and cleaned up. And I was wondering if I know there's some talk in the past about trying to preserve the structure. Do you have any comments or any new information about that?
Sure. Let me just give you a quick update, and I totally agree with you. It's a stunning building structure. We did the first phase of our cleanup. If a lot of you council members have been on for a while, you understand the struggle that I had between two state departments that would not allow the cleanup to occur. We got through that by utilizing some pretty smart consultants and using a strategy that worked. So our initial cleanup, which was the removal of the entire debris of material that fell inside the body of the building, has been done. And I actually been inside that building. Our previous mayor has been in there. And our next phase of the project, which we are currently working on right now, is to deal with the contamination of the beautiful walls that you see standing up right now. The inside of those walls are laced with asbestos-containing fibers in the coat of finish that was done on the walls. So we are trying to figure out and put together a work plan to get that work done. We just did a full environmental assessment that included a structural analysis. And again, the big issue here with us doing this work was that you had an OSHA department that was not really allowing us to go into that building based on the condition of the building. So we are working through that, and we have some momentum, which I'm pretty excited about. And once we get that done, I believe the next phase would be to discuss what to do with the structure, and if possibly saving those outside structures by putting some lateral bracing in there is an option for us. And I hope to present that to you soon.
That would be excellent. I would support that 100%. And I thank you and everybody's involvement, on the work that's already been done with that. Thank you, Mr. Idarola. Mr. Mayor, if I may, one more.
Sure.
I'll direct to the tax assessor or the tax collector. It was in the news recently that there's a tax deferral program out there. And my question was, where would residents apply for that and get the application? Is it online, or do they have to go to City Hall?
Okay,
If they could also just discuss the process a bit, please.
We'll send that to Mr. Ferguson for a response. He's online with us tonight, so we'll let him take that question.
Sure, Mr. Mayor, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the governor did sign into effect Executive Order 9R a couple of weeks ago that revised the tax deferral program that was in effect last year. What it does is allow taxpayers to apply for a tax deferral for tax payments due on January 1 only, to get a deferral to April 1. So they would have 3 months to pay versus the usual 1 month to pay without interest. Taxpayers would do that through an application process. The application is on the city website on the homepage, and it does have instructions and how to respond. We have a dedicated email response site for those. It's basically the same thing as last year, only the dates have changed. The one difference this time to note is they have 1 month to apply. They must apply by February 1st in order to get the deferral. So any other questions to that?
No, that's pretty satisfactory. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. I would just let your constituents know who might need a little relief for a few months.
Yes, yeah, I've had some inquiries. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank
Send
you.
the link out.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you, Mr. Ferguson.
You're welcome,
Any-
Mayor.
Mr. Farley, I believe you were next.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and congratulations to you, sir, on your appointment. And Council President DiGilio, congratulations to you, sir. So my question is to Chief Ridenour. And Chief, I was going to ask about the body cameras, and Mr. Brown had the public participation question about that. Although the question about the December 2020 reassignment of funds there, that was for vehicle camera system. So you can touch base on that if you'd like, but I would like to know more about the body cameras themselves. So I know we had a process that we were looking through. There were vendors. One vendor fell through. I know you've given us an update recently. I just want to know where we stand right now, because it seems to me like it's been a little bit of a long time since we first looked at this, and from then to implementation seems to be a little while. So
I agree. I agree 100%. And thank you for your question. And just first off, I already responded to Mr. Brown this afternoon. So, so he got the answer to his questions.
Great.
But for the council and for anyone who's listening, as you know, back in December of last year, you approved money for the body cameras. And and the money that we asked for was based on a tentative agreement we had with a vendor. Shortly after the money was approved, that vendor could not honor the original terms of the tentative agreement. So we kind of had to go back to the drawing board, and we were had to test other models. Then COVID hit. It was just, the perfect storm. What I am happy to say, though, is that we have selected a new vendor. A new contract was signed, and body cameras have started to arrive at the police station. So,
okay.
we are at this point into the training and implementation stage. So we're hoping to start having them on the street soon. And when I say soon, probably a month or two. We got to finalize the policy and train everyone as to how they operate and when they need to be on and when they don't need to be on.
Excellent.
Okay. As far as the in-dash cameras, the money that was approved at your last council meeting, as you may know, the police accountability legislation requires us to have both body cameras and in-car cameras.
Yes.
And the in-car is by July 1 of 2022. Fortunately, because the funding was approved, we didn't have to put it into our budget request for this upcoming budget. And we already have a deal with a vendor for the in-car cameras, and they're going to be able to interact, talk to each other, the body cameras and the in-car cameras. So we're going to have hopefully a pretty seamless system. So we're moving forward with the in-dash cameras as well. We've always had in-dash cameras, but they've been around for at least a decade. They're failing, and the company that was originally used is no longer in business. So they're not serviceable anymore. They're really past their usefulness. So I appreciate all the support that the council has given us moving in this right direction, and I'm very happy that I think we will be in compliance with both the letter and the spirit of that legislation ahead of schedule.
Great. Thank you, Chief. Mr. Mayor, if I can ask one more question for the Chief.
Absolutely. You have the floor, Mr. Farley.
Thank you, sir. Chief, question that I have for you is about downtown. I've had some folks that have reached out to myself, various other council members here about disturbances downtown. And I wanted to actually ask you directly if there have been many calls for disturbance issues, trespassing, any kind of those issues to the downtown Main Street area, to the City Green area there. We've been getting a lot of comments about folks loitering, folks doing all sorts of acts that they shouldn't be doing. So wondering if you've been having any increased patrol in that area. I know the winter months are kind of tough for foot patrol, but mainly trying to get down to how many calls are we getting for that, and what can we do to help the downtown business owners?
Right. We have a daily activity report, and off the top of my head, I can't say that I'm seeing
Sure.
calls for any increase in calls for service in the downtown area. We do have some challenges. The collective bargaining agreement calls for cars, a minimum number of people in cars out on the street before we can do the walking, anyone walking. So that's a challenge. We unfortunately have not been able to get around that. Our community conditions unit, does take downtown as a priority. But the other challenge we have is what crosses the line as criminal, and what is like you were saying, a quality of life issue that
Sure.
may or may not be enforceable. And even if it is enforceable, it's minimal enforcement, a ticket to appear in court, and but there's not really a serious punishment for some of these, because we know that there are underlying issues. So
Right.
I mean, we're just as frustrated, because we certainly want to do everything that we possibly can to help the business owners and the residents and the people coming to downtown, but it does become a bit of a challenge for us, and I'm more than willing. I have sat with people in the downtown area before to discuss it, and to try to come up with a solution that works for everyone, and understanding that we're kind of limited, and so, the more services that are available to deal with the underlying issues, I think the better it's going to be in the long run.
Yeah. Can I follow up on one thing there, Chief? You mentioned that you have to have a minimum amount of folks inside the cars,
Right.
officers inside the cars, due to the collective bargaining.
Right.
So is that a staffing level issue where you would have to have more staff in order to have more police officers in order to have foot patrol?
Right. The issue isn't what we're budgeted for. The issue is always getting, as it's probably at least a year before from hire to actually seeing officers on the street. And so that's always been the challenge. The council, the mayor and the council have always supported us getting our staffing to where it needs to be. And we're gradually getting there. And, if these officers, as we have 4 in the academy right now, and as we just hired a certified officer tonight who will be on the street within weeks of him being hired. And so we're getting there. So yes, it's a staffing issue, but it's not a staffing issue that's anyone's fault. It's if we can get to the number that you budgeted for, and to stay there or stay within 2 or 3 officers of that budgeted level, we'll be fine.
Right.
It's just that, like I said, unfortunately, if somebody retires, or if we get a series of injuries or anything like that, we can't just hire someone else tomorrow.
Right. No, I understand the process. As I look at your report, I see you've got 148 sworn personnel,
right,
and effective you've got 138. So
right,
what I deduce from what you're saying is that if you had more staff, if you had more
right,
officers, you'd be able to do these things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I
mean, we would be able
to,
right. We would be able to backfill our community conditions unit, which has lost a few officers over the last
right,
couple years because of either retirements or promotions, and so we would be able to maybe address some of the downtown issues more effectively. But again, there are limitations, as I said, due to just because of the underlying issues that are down there. And these aren't offenses that we're going to be able to pull someone off in handcuffs and that they're going to go away for 2 or 3
Sure.
years.
Sure. No, I absolutely understand. And, I'm preaching to the choir when speaking to you about public safety and how important that is to a community and the strength of a community, and, how it affects all different areas. So I definitely appreciate your comments on that. If within the new budget that we're going to be looking at later on this year, we can accommodate for more assistance for your department. I know every department is going to look for more funds, but public safety is number one concern when it comes to how important it is to the strength and the viability of our communities. So I appreciate your answering my questions there, Chief.
Thank you.
Thanks, Councilman.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. Any other comments under department reports? Mr. Levy first.
As long as we're talking about the police department, and I think we should highlight the fact that we're at year's end here, and if you look at these reports, you'll see that in many cases, the amount of incidents and crimes have all fallen off, in some cases 30%. So whatever you're doing, Chief, and whatever the department is doing, certainly we're not going to be part of that drive to defund police department. We're going to be more in line with continuing on with the good work that you're doing. So thank you very much.
Well said, Mr. Levy.
I appreciate that, Councilman. And but it's not us; it's all of us together, and the support that the council and the mayor gives us to do what we do, and a lot of cooperation from our citizens as well.
Any other questions for the department reports?
Your Honor,
Mr. Bertolo, that sounds like you.
it is me, and I've got Bob here on the speakerphone, and after I'm done, I think he's got something also, and we're gonna experiment to see if he can go through my speakerphone to my microphone on my iPad. But let's just start with my issue. When I realized in the last few minutes I would never have to introduce departmental reports, I began to relax. Congratulations, Vinny. But then somebody said major gas explosion, and my blood pressure went up about 1,000 points. So I got on Amazon and ordered 5 pounds of leeches, and they're going to make an emergency delivery sometime this evening, because I gotta begin to calm down here. Let's talk about, I know Mr. Palazzo was taking point on this with Eversource, but can I be brought up to date on the status of the gas line from the Rizzo project down to the bottom of Worcester Heights, and then from there to Pleasant Street, and then from Pleasant Street to Park Avenue, because I'm on that street on a daily basis. The corner of Park Avenue and Division is weeping, that's at the bottom. The corner of Park and Pleasant is weeping, that's at the top. And if in the brittle season that we're in right now and soil begins to freeze and compact, I mean, if we're one truck away from a disaster, it's just unconscionable that Eversource is dragging this along year after year after year. So if somebody could bring me up to date and inform me as to the status of this rectification, I would certainly appreciate it. And so would the residents of Pleasant and Park Avenue. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Iadarola on that as a public
Yeah,
works director?
thank you, Mr. Mayor. I can handle that question, and I can appreciate Paul's concern, because this has been a long-going issue. And I do want to tell you, we've made some substantial gain over the last year. We've met with some high-level executives from the gas company. We've gotten a commitment of dealing with some of their direct engineers. They staffed up. That was the other issue. They didn't have a lot of staff available to actually do the proper planning and the design of these projects. And as you know, this work's very delicate work. If your design plans are not good or they're not complete, we're not going to allow you to dig in our street. We're not going to give you a permit to dig in our street. So a lot of the projects that were sort of somewhat delayed or were on hold have been moved and progressed along. We've issued numerous permits. The other thing is we met with the gas company. They've put together a comprehensive program for the replacement of many gas lines in our city. So you will see more and more gas work. This is the replacement of some antiquated old gas lines, some of them dating back to the late 1800s, early 1900s. And they've done well. They've held up well. But based on us digging in these roads, if you get within a foot of these pipes, you got to be incredibly conscientious of what you're doing. Thank God nothing's ever happened. I don't anticipate anything will happen. But it is something that we always worry about, and I can appreciate your concerns. But I do want to tell you, we've made incredible progress, even in the area directly associated with your district, Paul. We've made some great progress there. So you will start to see in the springtime a number of contractors working on those gas line replacement projects. And we now have a nice set of drawings. We have good specifications. We know where all the utilities are in the road, where previously it was a guess game. We get a crayon drawn on a piece of paper, and it was a Hail Mary. And we cannot do a Hail Mary when it comes to gas work, as you guys all know. But no, I'm very happy to report things have gotten much better. And we're so appreciative with the teamwork and the mutual effort that the gas company has put in with us.
That's great. I mean, that's really good news to hear. That Pleasant Street's a family-oriented street, and even though it gets a considerable amount of traffic, some of those broader lawns will find the entertainment of kids riding bikes and doing things like that. There's outdoor activities, so we need to get that buttoned up as soon as we possibly can. Thank you, Director. Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, if I can sort of jump in here, could we turn it over to Bob, because there's no way that he can get your attention?
Actually, Mr. Otello, Bob is next on the list, so thank you very much for being the pass-through for him tonight. We appreciate that.
Bob?
Okay, before I start, I'd like to congratulate Joe Cabo and for his being the mayor and Mr. Billiolo. Okay? But I would like to talk to Sarah if possible. And my two questions are that I trust that 71 people are homeless shelter. And I was again wondering how the percentage of Danbury people who are generally the Danbury hotel. And secondly, what current negotiations are for the purchase of the parade, if anything else has happened. I don't know who can answer that. I know Kara can answer.
Okay, Bob, even I had trouble hearing you, so I have to imagine that everybody else had just as hard a time. I'm going to take you off speaker. Bob, go ahead. Just the first question, you said something like 71? 71 homeless. So you want to know the status of the homeless, how many there are? Okay. Okay, and then also the negotiations for what? Negotiation for the super. Okay, all right. If I may, Your Honor, he mentioned 71 homeless, so he wants a sort of an inventory on that, and also the status of the negotiations for the Super 8.
Perfect. I sort of heard most of that, and that's really rare for me to be able to hear that, but I did hear that. So Ms. Prunty, would you please answer those two questions for Councilman Tabersack?
Sure. Thanks for the question. So currently we have 70 homeless guests with us at the hotel, and we have housed 69 individuals. So we're at 70, housed 69. There's currently I think we have 2 people that are coming in that are off the wait list, but they'll be coming in tomorrow. So that's where we stand with that. With the negotiations, I believe they're still ongoing at this point. I'm not really involved in the negotiations. It's really with Pacific House and the Super 8. So I don't really have any update on that.
Councilman Tabersack, did you get that?
Yes, I was wondering how to find out then from Pacific House what status is.
Okay, he wants to know how to find out how to contact Pacific House and get that information.
I can check in with them if he wants, or I can give him the contact information of Jerome, who's doing operations there at the Super 8.
Okay, thanks.
And if I could, Mr. Otello, through you to Mr. Tabersack, if he would like to call into the mayor's office tomorrow, we could get him on the phone. Mark Dillon, who's a member of my staff, who's been dealing with the Pacific House negotiations. In fact, I believe Mark may be on the meeting tonight. Let's see if he's here. If he's here, maybe we can get that answer from Mark, because I know he was having meetings and had meetings yesterday with the people. So Mark, are you on with us?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'm here.
If you hear the question.
Yes, it was related to the Pacific House negotiations ongoing with the Department of Housing.
Yes.
Exactly. If you could answer Mr.
Yes.
Taversak's question. it would be
Sure,
helpful.
Councilman Taversack, negotiations are ongoing between the state and Pacific House, and they're going through the CDBG process to get the funding to close on the deal. We don't have a date yet, a specific date, but it is moving forward surely at this point, and we hope to have more definitive dates within the next couple of weeks.
Okay, Councilman Tabersack, did you hear that?
Yes, I will, and with a few weeks, I'll call, the authority and see an update.
Correct.
on
You can touch base with the mayor's office and they'll get you in contact with Mark Dillon, who just spoke. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Mr. Dillon.
Thank you, Mr.
You're welcome.
Taversack.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and
We're clear.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Dillon. Mr. DiGiulio.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I just have a couple quick comments, and one of them being congratulations to you as serving as the mayor in Danbury with that appointment. And I know we all have a lot of confidence in you, and Danbury's in good hands. So congratulations. It's a pleasure to serve with you. I wanted to thank, obviously we have a lot of department reports on a regular basis. A lot of department heads put a lot of time and effort into their daily duties and the reports and before, during, after hours type of things. But I want to thank all of them and their staff for this hard work. I mean, we just finished 2020 and it's been a trying year. There was a lot of flexibility exhibited across all areas that help support the council, with things being so fluid with the pandemic. And honestly, when we look back at all of our agendas and our meetings and the substance and what we were able to review and how we were able to connect, you never really missed a beat, keeping up with everything, keeping the council and the residents informed. So thank everybody for all that hard work. And just as a matter of the election for president, I appreciate all the kind words from everybody and the well wishes. Thank you, Jack, for your kind words in the nomination and the congratulations from everybody. It's always great to receive that support. I could look forward to continuing to working with everybody. I'm proud to be part of this council, like many of you, and our great city, and being able to be elected and serve our residents and the businesses and the community is a profound thing. Although, we may look at things differently at times and disagree here and there. I feel a common thread that we all have here is that we care about Danbury, its residents, and the businesses, and in all of our roles, and we care about each other, and that's an important thing to work together for those things. So again, I wanted to express my thanks to everybody on the dais, and look forward to continuing to work with you, to the mayor in his role and responsibilities, and to the department head. So thank you again, everybody. I appreciate the time to address everyone.
Thank you very much.
Donna?
Mr. Palma, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, John. First of all, congratulations, and definitely I agree with Vinny, Mr. DiGiulio. I'm sure, and we don't doubt that Denver is in good hands, and we're going to work all together and to do the best for this city. Lately, I have seen a lot of Christmas tree at the side of the roads. Is any way that we can inform how this will be picked up, or what we need to do to inform the constituents?
Mr. Palma, thank you. I believe the city has a Christmas tree program. I'm going to go to either Mr. Nolan or to Mr. Iadarolo for that, whoever wants to take that question.
I can answer that for you, Mayor. We just initiated on yesterday, the 4th, going forward for, I believe it's for the month of January, for picking up Christmas trees. So if they leave them out on their curb, we will be in 06810 this week, alternate to 06811 next week. And if citizens would like to call my office, we certainly can jot down their address to make sure they get picked up. But that'll be ongoing.
Thank you so much.
That'll go for the month, Mr. Nolan?
Yes, I believe it's a month. We also have it listed on the website, the exact terms of the picking up of the trees.
Palma, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Mr. Chianese, I think you're trying to get my attention.
Yeah, yep. Thank you, Your Honor. Again, congratulations as well, and to you, Vinny, as well. Just I follow up some of the comments that were made and have a few other questions if I can. To Director of Health, you mentioned about 2 new people coming in. Can you go into a little bit more details of where those 2 are coming from? Because one of the concerns we keep hearing that they're coming from other parts of other cities. So can you just give us more detail on that?
Sorry, you said 2 new people, 2 new.
Yeah, you said 2 people are going to enter the house.
So we have a total of 70 guests with us at the Super 8. When I submitted our council report, we had 71, but we housed 5. So it's kind of a fluid population. We house some come in. Primarily right now we have, because typically, in previous years we had New Street, we had Dorothy Day, we had the Overflow, we had Jericho, we had multiple shelters. So right now we're serving that entire population at the Super 8. So most of the individuals are the individuals that we see every year. They are mostly from the Danbury area. They are familiar faces that we've seen in previous years.
Okay, thank you. The other question I have, if I may, Your Honor, is to Frank Gentile. I think was there. There he is. About a week ago, there was an article in the Danbury paper about an app regarding potholes, because I know this is pothole season. And I think I talked to Tim Nolan just a little while ago about a big pothole that was on Rose Street. I almost hit today. And I thought of you, Frank, when I said, well, if I had that app, I could take a picture and get it done. Have you looked into that more to see whether that's something we can do? Because I know the 311 system, it works when you can get a hold of them, but sometimes you use a cell phone and it doesn't connect. So it's not as efficient as I would like it to be. Is that something you can enlighten us on?
Yes, I can. Actually, I did look into the app some more. This app has been in development for over a decade, actually, and every iteration of it adds more features. C-Click Fix is the app that they're actually using, and if it's implemented properly, constituents would be able to take pictures of potholes and other issues, and then add it as a work order. It would be a procedural change to what we're doing with 311 right now. So I think it's worth some discussion, certainly.
Okay, is that okay? I can follow up on that. Maybe another future meeting or an ad hoc. We can go into that a little bit further. And then the other question I have would be dealing with, when I was reading the department report, Antonio, you mentioned something about the council chambers being upgraded. Can you tell us what's going on with the chambers? Because sooner or later, we're going to have to go back. So are you doing a renovation of the council chambers?
Maybe that question may be, Antonio, do you want to take that, or do we want to get that to Tim, to Sean Hanley?
Yeah, I think Sean's on, but Sean was looking to implement a sort of an ADA, soft ADA project. And if he's on, he could talk more directly about it. But that was the essence of the project, was to eventually provide some better access to the sitting area where most of you council folks sit and reign in your seats. So that was the essence of that project, and I know he's been working on it.
Hanley, are you on with us? I don't see him.
No, I'll follow up with them tomorrow. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, thank you very much. And then, anyone else? Mr. Salvatore, you have your hand up. Let's see if we can get the speaker part of this right.
Let's see. Now, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. It only took 27 tries. First of all, Mr. Mayor, congratulations. And I want to thank you for the moment of silence for my mother and for you being one of the first people that called me after she passed. I really appreciate that, and I wish you well. Benny, I also congratulate you and wish you well. Kara, my questions are for you, and I'm going to apologize now if I ask something that you gave a report at the beginning, but you guys know I had audio problems, so I was busy trying to fix that. So the first question I have for you is the COVID vaccination program. I believe it was publicized how many doses the city has gotten. How many of those doses have been delivered? And I love that graphic that you guys put out, and I put it out on my Facebook page. But how far are you into the first responders, police, fire, vaccinating them?
Thank you for that question. So we received 300 doses last week. We administered all of those doses. This week, we received an additional 300 doses, and then we were transferred an additional 200 doses. So we have a total of 500 doses to administer this week. Today, we administered about 114 or 15, I believe. So we've administered a total of about 430 because some of the vials have extra doses in them. So we were able to have over what we were actually allotted. So with our first responders, we have gone through almost the entire fire department. Anyone who wanted to receive the vaccine has, I think almost everyone has had the opportunity to receive that. I know there's a few people who have changed their minds now and are now getting the vaccine. So we're vaccinating a few this week, but it's only a handful. And we started vaccinating the police department at the end of last week. But we are keeping it to first responders who only respond to 911 calls and could be exposed to COVID.
Okay, that's good. And then the second question I have is going to be for you also. The Sarah alert system, about how many people are you monitoring? And if somebody says yes, what's supposed to happen to the symptoms?
That's also a great question. So we just recently brought on the police department with Sarah Alert. Before that, it was just municipal employees, city employees. We are monitoring that for the most part as best as we can, and we reach out. We have some technical issues with it. Sarah Alert was originally designed to be a contact tracing app. That was our first contact tracing app that we started with before we got the state contact system. We then have taken that to do that as employee symptom monitoring. So if we do get a notification about someone answering yes, if they have one of those symptoms, the follow-up would be that a person would call them and go through their symptoms. But if they answer yes, they are not supposed to come to work. And the whole point is to be a self-screening, so that way people don't come to work symptomatic.
Good. Okay. Thank you. And good job. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Salvatore. We appreciate it. Any other comments, questions for department heads?
Your Honor, if I may.
Yeah, Mr. Bartolo?
Your Honor?
Yes, sir. You have the
Okay,
floor,
all right.
Mr. Bartolo.
It's snow season. For the benefit of the new residents to Danbury, how do they get on that reverse 311 system where we call them and tell them there's a snow emergency, they have to move their car? I've gotten a couple of questions from tenants about that.
Okay, so I'm going to let Taylor answer that question because she handles that through our office, and we're going to get her on here and she can inform you on that.
Yeah, if you could hear me through this laptop, we'll do it this way. It's been on the city website. We do have a link. I just sent it into the chat if you want to use that. Around this time of year, I do like to put that information on the Facebook page as well. I will let you know, I believe he's on. We do have a new emergency manager. We have discussed some more comprehensive plans to gathering numbers a little bit easier. I'll let you know right now, the system we have has only landlines that are public. I'm limited to about 16,000 landlines, and then we have about 1,500 opt-in cell phones. So it is limited. There are people that may sign on and then want to sign off if they feel it's not useful, so that number changes. But the landlines we have are all the public landlines, and cell phones I cannot add manually. People do have to create accounts to get them. And we will walk people through. If you find somebody who may not have a computer or has issues, we will walk them through the process and sign them up through our office so they could call if they're confused. And if somebody wants to get removed, that would be through me. So they would call me as well.
Okay, but you're saying that we have capacity to add more lines, or we do not have capacity?
We can add more lines. Yes. Anyone can sign up. They
Okay, all right.
they would have to choose to do so. Yes.
Okay, yeah, no, I got that part. Okay, thank you, Taylor. Thanks.
We're actually having some discussion right now about vendors and use, and so we're looking at that, and we're also, pushing people to the City of Danbury website as well as to the City of Danbury Facebook page for current and pertinent information regarding that. So
I just have always found it incredibly helpful to get a heads up on a water main break or a snowstorm or something like that. I just think everybody should participate in this. And I know it's done by census block, so if you live up at the lake, your phone's not going to ring if there's a problem in the south end. So it's a great system.
thanks, Paul. Appreciate that. Anybody else under department reports? Anybody else? At this time, seeing there be no other further business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Otello, seconded by Mr. Salvatore. All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Anybody abstaining? Folks, thanks very much. We'll see everybody together again in February for our meeting, and appreciate all your help, support, your kind words of encouragement. Look forward to working with each and every one of you. And,
Nice job,
very
Joe.
much. Thank you very much.
Good
Thanks,
job.
Your Honor. Congratulations again, you and Vinny.